It is so common in Tabarwa to be sharing experience. And recently I was working on contemplation of the body and death. And now I would like to share my experience so that it might bring an idea for the others who want to practice or maybe who experience similar problems and can't find solutions, or who want an alternative solution. So I was stuck for some long time already in a sickness, which was like a cold but rather a virus. Um, Too much of sore throat and coughing, sometimes unstoppable coughing. And then it gave some complication on the heart, that there was too much heat in the heart. I was feeling the heart, while usually we don't feel it. It wasn't about the beat up, no something like changes of beating, just really the heat. And I was recommended to contemplate the death and the impermanence of the body. Actually, when I sent my mind to an imaginary future that I may die, my mind, well practiced with staying in the present moment and knowing the impermanent nature, immediately brought the idea that I'm actually dying every moment. It is known that since we were born, we don't remain the same. Every moment we change, and only accumulation of those moments make us like something complete, something stable and everlasting. But somehow the quite known truth is that if we don't see a person for quite a long time, especially if we see someone as a child and then in a dozen of years we see them again, we see great changes, that the person changes. But the change actually happens every moment. So it happens in the way that whatever there is dies and new one is born. So we can contemplate even like that dying happens every moment. This is though helpful for understanding and practicing Dhammanupassana, having concentration on the phenomena of Dhamma, of just changing, ever changing. Although contemplating the death, we should really try to work a bit with our imagination and take this golden opportunity. As I heard from one teacher, this is a golden opportunity. If we have some sickness and we are concerned about it, we are worried, then this is our real chance to contemplate the death and accept this truth and develop the understanding and the congruity with this fact that we are not permanent and everybody who is born will die, and we never know the moment of our death. So accepting like this makes us free from fear of death, if we accept it. So when we are sick, this is a golden opportunity to contemplate on death, because when we are healthy, it is quite difficult to go into that subject and to imagine that and to dig up and take out those emotions and fears connected to the death. While when we experience some problems with health, naturally worries come, and we can use to practice only, to experience only. How would I contemplate in that case? Naturally, my mind brings mindfulness to the sensations in the heart, to that heat. And I see those sensations as impermanent. But for contemplation of death, I connect to this sensation and take it as real, see it as real. And if it is real, if it is painful, if it is negative, because this is how our mind knows to go into the story, taking something as real and then judging it, grasping it, and giving an estimation, liking or disliking. So in this case it is negative, disliking, having rejection, having fear. Then I stay with those emotions that arise and I try to follow them. Usually exactly what we do is that we abandon and we don't follow. But in this case, because we want to contemplate and we want to make it probably ridiculous, so we need to go into that fear and let ourselves imagine and experiment what really happens if we die. So I let that pain be true. I let that pain be permanent and eating me from inside. And I imagine that this body starts to be infected by this pain. The heat goes all over the body and the body suffers and it kind of stops being under control of I. The body like decomposes just from this disease, just from the sickness. And then I feel that it loses any control and it just separates from the mind and it remains by itself, just the body, bringing the death. No more mind, no more consciousness, no more breathing in, breathing out, no more movement, no more happening within this body, recognized by the mind. Just the body remains as a matter. And then this body can either stay in the nature and decompose, which will take lots of time. But as recently I participated in the funeral of an old monk who died in Tabarwa in Bodh Gaya, I decided also to burn my dead body too. So I put it on the pile of wood and made the fire. And at this point it was quite difficult to make myself one with this body because I was still watching it from the side. But the idea is just really to experience it happening to you, not to a picture that you observe from the side. Although since I came into the story that the mind separated from the body and the body remained by itself, I cannot experience it anymore. So I allowed myself just to be sometimes in and out with this body which was on the fire, in the flame and burning, and I imagined the burning of the skin, of the flesh, and the liquids are a little bit bubbling and burning. And then as we do scanning by Goenka meditation practice, I went through this scanning of the body to see how different parts of the body just decay and get fried and all liquids just go out and the dried meat just becomes too dry and meat, flesh, and then it really dries out and comes into ashes, and the bones they start burning out from the sides and given some smoke maybe, I don't know, and then everything just becomes ashes. The mix of wood and this body makes no difference one between the other. All is just ashes. A human being who was alive, who was someone important, playing some roles in the society, in the world, in life, and then just the wood, immovable, unable of anything in itself, just mixed together, and all is just the same ash. And then this ash is mixed up with the sand where it was burned. And nothing remains. And this brings like quietness, and this brings some kind of tranquility, and this brings actually peace. And we can continue from there to see that this peace also is impermanent, and we can still start contemplating Dhamma, but at least going through the stages of dying from the symptoms, from the feelings, starting from the feelings, sensations, and then going into those symptoms and letting them infect the body and make it die and then decompose or being burned. Already this shows this natural process and lets our mind go through it actually in a secure place where we are sitting, where we are practicing this type of meditation. And this connects us to the acceptance of this truth. This is to contemplate. This is to practice many times. I heard that some people get enlightened just working like this with their mind on the death. May we all be able, by this path or any other path, method. There is still one path of Buddha, just different methods, different sides. So may we all be able to be free from suffering and be fully liberated.